Hello crafters, I'm JanB and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Today I'd like to show you how I made this card. I've coloured the image, which is from the Beautiful You stamp set, using bleach, and I've also coloured the letters in the sentiment as well with bleach. I'm going to change my colour scheme for the video, and I'm going to be using Island Indigo and Mint Macaroon. So I'll start by telling you the card pieces that you're going to be needing. First of all, the card base needs to be 8 1/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches, scored and folded at 4 1/8. That's 21 by 14.5 centimetres, scored and folded at 10.5 centimetres. Then you'll need 2 pieces of mint macaroon. You need 1 piece for the inside, and these should measure 4 inches by 5 5/8 inches, which is 10.25 by 14.25 centimetres. And then a piece of Island Indigo rather, which should measure 3 7/8 inches by 5 1/2 inches, which is 10 centimetres by 14 centimetres. And then you need 2 other pieces of Island Indigo, one that measures 3 inches by 4 inches, which is 7.5 centimetres by 10 centimetres. These two are approximate sizes. And the one for the sentiment should be approximately 2 1/2 inches by 3 1/4 inches, which is 6.5 centimetres by 8.5 centimetres. You will also need 2 of our delicate white doilies, and I'm going to do these bits first because I'm going to be sponging them, which means they're going to get quite moist, so I can put them to one side and dry while I'm doing the other bits. So I'm going to bring in a sheet of scrap paper, and I'm going to use my sponge brayer, which is one of the new things we have in our catalogues, and I have to be honest, and when I first saw them I thought that they looked flimsy and would not be up to the job, but since I've started using them they are fabulous. Right, so what I'm going to do is just roller these. Now when you're rollering, didn't put that on very well, did I? You just change the sponges by unhooking these and putting the next one on. So when you're inking this up, you need to roll, lift, roll, lift, roll, lift, so that you get the whole of the sponge covered, and then just go over. And depending on how many times you go over this will decide on how deep your colour is. And as long as this covers the white, then I'm quite happy. They work brilliant, don't you think? Okay. I'm not unduly bothered about the bit in the centre there because that's going to be covered up. I will make sure I got the edges correct though. So there's that one, put that to one side, and then do the other one. You could also do the reverse side as well if you feel that the white isn't getting covered up enough, because obviously you can't get down into the sides of the die cut, where it's cut the holes out. But I don't think I'm unduly bothered about that. That's a good example there. I'll bring it up to show you. It's not actually colouring these. Right, let me just pop that down for a moment. Close the ink. Now if you have a look at, I don't think I've had my paper piercer out yet today. No. Right, if you have a look at the holes down here, you can still see the white in them. Okay, now that doesn't worry me because it is so faint, but if you're not happy about it, if you do it from the other side, because you see that's quite a lot of the colour has come through, so therefore if you do it from this side, the colour on this side must go through to there. So the theory's good. Right, so next thing I'm going to do is the black embossing, which means I want the sentiment, I want the lady, and I want the lady on the inside as well, like that. That's been bleached as well. You can see how different the colours have come up. This one's very much like Blushing Bride, and that one's more like very pale, well, a pinky, very vanilla. But what I do before I start with my colours, now this isn't foolproof, but I find it's close enough. I choose which colour I want to do, and as you can see I was undecided today, and then I just got little scraps and I just applied a little bit of bleach to them to see what colour they came up. The results are really quite surprising. I quite liked that one with the mint macaroon with soft sky, but I didn't think the two went together very well like this. But this one is the Island Indigo, and that came up like a yellowy sort of green, so I thought I'd put these two together. What I found on this one here, that has come up really very much like Blushing Bride, but this here is quite bluey coloured. Now why that has happened I don't know, because they are both perfect plum. The only thing I can imagine is that this might have been from a different batch from this one, but it's a bleach technique, so you know, you're not going to get perfection with it. So that's what I do, and this is how come I've chosen the mint macaroon with the Island Indigo. Okay. And the bleach that I'm using is just ordinary household bleach. Right, so first of all I am going to do my stamping, and I'm going to wipe my pieces over with my Embossing Buddy. So that's for my sentiment. That's for my image, and that's for my image for the inside. So the image I am taking from, I'm going to do the lady, but this comes from the Beautiful You stamp set. When I was doing that card the other day, I did three. I did all three ladies, and I used them on all different kinds of purpley mauve colours, so I'll show you the other two at the end. I was just having a look, see what the different results would be. And then for the sentiment I've chosen to use this one, which is from Confetti Sale-a-bration, and I've chosen this because it's block letters and the centres are open, so I can paint bleach in there. So I have my three stamps here. Just be careful I don't actually touch where I'm going to be stamping. And I'm going to use VersaMark. So first of all, my image. Just stamp that into the centre. looks good. And then I'm going to do the sentiment, which is going to go on this one. I'll do that in the centre as well. These two are going to be die cut. That looks good. And then I need to bring the lady back, because I'm going to do that down at the bottom here, but I'm only going to be doing about just over half of it, I think. Even though I've done my experiments, my tests with this Island Indigo, it could finish up not looking anything like mint macaroon, but I'm taking a chance on that. If I was just doing this myself, if it didn't work out the right colour, then I could just change it over. But as I'm doing a video, I'm going to just go with it, whatever colour it comes up as. Right. Unfortunately, we don't sell black embossing powder anymore, because you can do heat embossing using inks, which I have shown on other videos, and I'm not going to go into it now, but I do prefer to use embossing powder if I can. Right, I've just had some go where I don't want it to go, so if I can find my brush, which I know was here, there it is, I can see it. Okay. Right, that bit there should not be there. Okay, let's give that another flick and a blow. So that should be fine now. And then we get the lady. Yes, that's good. So I'm just going to pop the embossing powder back into the pot. Okay, rest that there for the time being. I've got quite a long piece of white. Let's put that in the bin. Right, I'm going to use my heat tool to emboss these. It's going to get a little bit noisy, and I will let this heat up a bit first. For those of you that are new to heat embossing, as soon as the powder turns shiny, that's it, it's done. Don't stay over your embossing after that. Right, so I think we'll do the bleaching next, and I have two pens I keep for my bleach. And the way that I do it because obviously, like most of the techniques that we do in card making, there is more than one way. So I have my aqua pen and I have filled it with normal tap water. This piece just unscrews, okay, and I'm not going to squeeze any water in here because it's already quite moist. So I'm going to bring my bleach over. Please don't forget, bleach is toxic and it must be used in a very well ventilated room. Don't breathe in the fumes from it. We only need a very small amount. I have this in a ceramic dish. You can see how much I have there. Tiny amount. Barely covers the bottom of the dish there. So all you need to do is, with a wet brush, and it doesn't have to be soaking wet, just dip that into the bleach and then paint in between all the black lines. And that's all you need to do. The bleach will do the rest of it. As you're doing this, if you feel that it's getting too wet, just mop your brush onto a piece of kitchen roll. And the reason I do the heat embossing for the image is to try and keep the bleach contained. Obviously bits like this where there's only one side to the arm, it's not so easy, and it is amazingly easy to go over the edges. Now so far so good. This is going really nice and green. Right, now just come down and do the dress. Don't forget to keep topping up with the bleach. Your pen may be, your painter rather, aqua painter, may appear to be nice and moist, but don't forget there's water in there and it may be that you're just painting with water rather than bleach. Okay, so there's that one. I'm just going to put that to one side and give that a chance to dry. Now this one will go a different colour because obviously I've got this on mint macaroon, but I'm going to do exactly the same. I have no idea what colour this is going to go. I expect it to go vanilla, although it looks like I'm wrong. It's going a very pale blue. Oh yes, of course it would do, wouldn't it? Because that other one went, my test piece went blue. Amazing how close it is to our actual colours. This really is very much like Soft Sky. There we go, so I'm going to put that one on one side. And then I have my sentiment to do. This one needs quite a steady hand. And this is the kind of job that I do, and I find that I'm holding my breath. Oops, gone into the centre of the P now. This is going delightfully green as well. Sorry, but it's very difficult to talk when you're holding your breath. Oh, there we go. Whew. Okay, so I'm going to leave that to dry as well now. So what I do to clean my brush is with some kitchen roll. I squeeze a drop out, and then as it comes out I use that drop to wash the brush through, and I do that 3 times. If you do it really nice and quickly, then you can catch the little puddle of water that's in your kitchen roll. Okay, I cheated on that one. There were 2 drops. But it's nice and clean now. The bleach is gone. Put my cap back on, and I put it back in with my bleach bag. I have another one in there, which is because our aqua painters come as a set of 2, one with a thin brush and one with a thick brush, so I've got one of each in there. Okay, let's keep that there in case I need it. Let's push that right down at the end there. So what I need to do is, that one needs to be dry embossed, and then I need to do the die cutting of those. So I'm going to bring my big shot up, and on this one I used I call this Falling Hearts, but it's actually called Falling Petals. But I'm actually going to use our Petal Burst embossing folder, and this one now looks like pebbles to me. I used it the other day, and I think I was using the succulents, and hubby turned around and said that oh, that looks like pebbles, and when I looked at it, it did. I think it's absolutely brilliant, and for succulents it's spot on. Let's turn this round. Now I have my magnetic platform. I don't want to start off with that one, so I'm going to change over to my new Big Shot platform. I'll have one cutting mat. I'll take my sheet of Island Indigo, pop that into the middle there, make sure it's nice and straight. That's habit, that is. I'm not sure that it's really necessary with a design like this. Right, then pop that in there, in the 2, and then just run it through. There we go. That is just so lovely. So I don't need the embossing folder again, and I don't need this platform. I'm going to go back to my magnetic platform, which I'll put over here. One cutting plate, and I need to die cut this one and this one. So for this one, I'm using the stitched shape framelits, are they? Stitched shapes framelits, and I'm using the oval ones, and these are sizes 2 and 4. Start counting from the middle. The smallest is the smallest number, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I do that with all of my layered dies. Right, so for the image, let me turn it around so it faces me. It looks fractionally easier for me. Right, that's that one. And then for the happy birthday, this just about fits in. If I remember rightly, it did just cut a fraction off. No, it didn't. The stitches actually went through the very, very edge of the B and on the A and Y. Just clip that Y as well. So don't expect to get perfection with these. Where's the, because the stitching is right on the inside of this ring. So where you see it touching, that's where the stitch is actually going to be. Okay, I'll bring it up close so you can see where the stitches have touched onto the letters. So at least you know what you're aiming for. So there's that one. Put the die over there. And then the lady, the image, she's just absolutely in the centre. Okay. Right, so I don't need my big shot anymore, so we can move this out, and I think we can start putting our card together. Let me bring the card back so that I can keep an eye on what I'm meant to be doing. That's going to be going on the inside, and I'm going to do these two pieces first, and then I'm going to put a piece of ribbon round. So you can use whichever glue you prefer, whether it's Tombow or Snail or Fast Fuse. Tweezers. Now the ribbon is approximately an inch up from the bottom of the actual card, which isn't very helpful seeing as how this isn't the actual. So that's 1/8 of an inch, isn't it? Because that's what I allow. The ribbon I'm using is the sheer linen ribbon. It's 3/8 of an inch wide, which is 1 centimetre. So I'm just going to take a piece that's enough just to go across the card and tuck behind. And I am going to put some snail on either end. Got some glue on my finger. Okay, so there's that little bit and that little bit. And I am going to use my grid paper to help me get this straight. Now 4 lines is an inch, or 4 sets of squares is an inch. So I'm just going to come to that line. It's going to be fractionally higher than my previous card, but that doesn't matter. Not for 1/8 of an inch. In fact, I'll tell you what would be a lot easier. When you put the snail on here, if you did it so that you're actually putting snail onto the bit that's going to come onto the front of your card, it would be a lot easier. Why I didn't think about that ages ago, I really don't know. It's pretty obvious really. So let's try again. 4 squares up, that one and that one. Now press that bit down, and because you've got glue on it, it's going to hold it in place. Oh, I had plans for this sheet for something else. So that's nice and straight and it's held in place. So the next part I'm going to do is I'm going to attach my doilies. Now I'll show you what I did with this. This was a mistake that I made. I haven't fixed it yet because I wanted to show you. I wasn't very careful when I took my doilies, and there were 2 attached to each other, not just one side but on both sides. So I'm going to have to go over that and put some more glue on to hold it down. Okay, so when you're getting your doilies up, do make sure you only get one up, which is what hopefully I've done this time. Now, how did I do this? Do you know what I think? Did I? I think I've only used one doily there. Yes, I did. Oh, that's all right. I got one there ready for another project. So what I'm going to do, put that on there and put that down. Having the oval on it makes this look as if it's 2 halves, but it isn't. So first of all, I'm going to use Tombow on this. You can dry this with your heat tool if you like. Just around there, and then I'm just putting little bits, if it'll come out, yep, just on these areas where it's quite big. At least this time I don't have to worry about 2 of them separating. There we go, that should be fine. There we go. I put that up on dimensionals, so let's do that. In fact, let me put this onto the card base first. I think it's easier when there aren't any bits that have been popped up. So I'm going to use Tombow again, and whatever you use, just make sure you put a little bit more down on the ribbon. Make sure that doesn't go walkabouts. I love these two colours together. I'm not sure I would have thought about it had it not been for seeing which way that glue was, the bleach was going. There we go, that's that. So now I'm going to bring some dimensionals in. Let's take them from here. I can't see the... oh, there's a sheet that I brought over. Right, so what I'll do is north, south, east and west, and then something in the middle. I'm just going to hold this up to get it into a position that I feel happy with. That's it. That's good. Now this one, I think, because I remember what I did on this, I did the, I just took all the edging off and put that up round there, but that ribbon is thicker. This really is sheer. So again, I'm just going to do north, south, east and west, I think. In fact, I'm not sure that I'm even able to do that. I think what I'll do is I'll just take one and cut it in half. I'll just get a pair of scissors. I've got one either side there. I don't really think it needs it in the centre. There we go. Let's tip that upwards, up so I can see as well. In fact, that ribbon could have done with being a bit lower. But never mind, I'm still going to put my sentiment in the right place. Okay, so the ribbon is, it should be down here somewhere, but I'm not going to worry about that. Now I'm going to put the insert in, and again I'm using Tombow. I am going to add one little addition onto this one that I didn't do on this one here, and that is I'm going to go over the dress and the hat and the sentiment with my wink of Stella. In fact, I will need to do that on the inside as well if I'm going to do that, just to add a little bit of a sparkle there. I did it on one of the others and I thought it looked quite nice. So is that clear? Yep, that's clear. I'm only doing it on her clothes. I'm leaving her flesh non-sparkly. And again the hat. And then the dress. There we go. So that is, oh no, I didn't do my letters, did I? Let me just quickly do those. There we go. Super. So what do you think about that? It has bleached up really nicely and I love the colour combo. It's a fascinating technique which I absolutely love. Right, let me show you the other two cards that I did. As I say, I did 3 in different purpley colours. That was the one that I did in Elegant Eggplant, and that's the one where I put the Winker Stella onto the dress, and I did that one as a thanks card, and I did the inside too. And this was the other one, and this was done on Rich Razzleberry. See the sparkle in the black embossing powder there. And this, I meant to have a look and see what the die that was from. I'll make sure that it's on the screen though. And then on the inside of that one, I did that as well. Okay, so just different ideas for you from the same stamp set. Many thanks for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I really hope you give it a try. It's a lovely, lovely technique, but as I say, do be careful because bleach is toxic and you need a well ventilated room, and don't breathe in the fumes. If you have any comments to make, please leave them in the box below. If you click on show more, that'll open the box up. I'm always happy to help you if you have any questions, or you can email me at janb@janbcards.com. If you would like to purchase any of the products that I featured here today, except obviously the bleach and also the black embossing powder, again, if you click on the show more below the video, that will open up the box and there'll be a link to my 24/7 online Stampin' Up shop in there. And I will put on the screen the names and the product numbers of all the products that I've used, as well as the measurements. If you can't see those on the device that you're watching, again, show more below, and all the information that you need will be in there. Everything, all the products, all the measurements, a link for my online shop, and your comments. Many thanks for joining me today. Until next time, happy crafting. Cheerio.